Okay, and welcome to episode 8 of I Have a Lot of Friends with Brolin Devine. I am here with my friend Matthew Miller, or Matt Miller.
Hello.
Depending.
Yeah.
Do you prefer Matt or Matthew?
I like writing the name Matthew. It's more fun to write, but I don't know anybody who calls me that.
Matt is from Aurelia.
Yep.
I'm from Aurelia. And we know each other from Aurelia.
That's where it all started.
Yep. And he's actually in Calgary right now as we record this.
Yeah, there was some technical difficulties, but we got them sorted out. An hour later than we planned, but here we are.
Hey, that's okay.
Yep.
It's a learning experience.
For sure. We're both more wise than we were an hour ago.
One of my favorite memories of you is you sitting in that small shack lit by my phone light and playing a song from your Frankenstein musical.
Oh, at the Schilling Still Parade.
Yeah, the Still Parade. I love everything about that Frankenstein musical.
Oh, thank you very much. I think you're one of like the two people that know about that musical that didn't really happen.
Well, now that we're talking about it on here, you can count on 2 more people knowing about it.
Well, there we go. I didn't realize that people were listening to this. I thought this was just something you like to do.
Well, I take for granted that at least 2 people will listen to it. For all I know, it could be 0 people.
Well, what do they like? We should talk about things that they're interested in.
I don't know who it is.
Oh.
We could suppose who it is, I guess.
I don't know. Do you have secret admirers? Or are these people that you don't consider friends who are like starting up the rival podcasts? Like Brolin has a lot of enemies with so-and-so.
Oh, I would subscribe to that podcast.
Well, I'll get it off the ground. I just need to figure out who these people are listening.
They exist. Well, you know, here it is. If you're listening and you're my enemy, Matt Miller's got the podcast for you.
Well, yeah, I figure I'll just sit him down. We'll be like, so what is it? Like, what bothers you so much about Brolin? He's okay. And then they'll be like, well, it's this. And fucking furious, the guy. And then we'll talk it out, Brolin. By the end, I'll bring him back. Like, they'll be friends with you by the end of my podcast about your wild foes.
Or maybe they'll bring you to that side once you hear, like, what I did to them that put them against me.
Oh, perhaps, yeah. I could be swayed either way. But I mean, like, you've always been pretty sweet to me. Like, I'd say one of my favorite Brolin memories was I didn't really know who you were. And
yeah?
And I think you were, like, going to some parties that my little sister was going to. And she mentioned you one time as this guy who's always going to parties and, like, no matter what, he always ends up naked. And he's just, like, the sweetest guy, but it seems like he's naked at every single party. And I was like, yeah, I think I've met that guy. I like that guy's style.
That was true about me in high school.
Well, yeah, I like that.
They'd always end up naked.
Yeah. And, like, she didn't seem, like, threatened or offended by it. It was just like, yeah, there's that cute Brolin guy who's always naked for some reason.
I don't know how I got myself into this position, but I was always naked, but people never seemed offended by it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I got into that, but it was a nice spot to be in.
I suppose, yeah. Like, you were wholesome or unthreatening enough that it went over okay.
I don't think that's the case anymore. I don't think it would fly down here if I did that.
No, probably not. But also, like, there's some weird parties in Toronto where, like, people don't seem to care or notice if you're naked.
Those are probably parties I don't want to go to.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't believe I forgot to mention that Matt Miller did my end theme song for this podcast.
Yeah. I remember when you asked me to. I, like, was so hungover and gross and, like, ran to the piano and sent you, like, 5 or 6 horrible ones. And then later that day, I came home from work and then just sent you the one that you use now. But yeah, those original ones were pretty rough.
They were brainstorming ones.
Yeah, exactly.
You were just trying to see what I wanted, like, lyrically, I think, right?
Oh, perhaps, yeah. And I think also I was just a little under the weather of sorts.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. Do you remember we went to that musical together?
Yeah, that was rough. But you were a trooper and you stuck it out.
But it was really bad. Well, it was a Stephen King, John Mellencamp, T-Bone Burnett musical.
Yeah, like, I don't know whose idea that was. Like, if it was, I'm hoping that it was the Cougs, and the Coug was over at, like, T-Bone's, and him and, Stevie King were all sitting around, like, playing harmonica and, like, tapping their toes or something, and one of them was just like, hey, you know what we could get away with? Like, I hope that it wasn't really, like, done with a whole lot of, sincerity. I hope it was more like, you know what we could probably get people to go see? And we probably wouldn't even lose money on it because we're all hilariously talented.
You know how we can make some dough?
Well, I doubt they really made that much money. But I bet they didn't lose any money just having that weird project.
Yeah. So you think it was more of like a practical joke almost?
Well, I feel like it was just like, I don't know, some creative folks jamming. And I don't think all jam bands are really great all the time.
In fact, most of them aren't.
No, but at the same time, like when they're on, they're on. So, I think we participated in one of their events that wasn't their best, but
no, you took off at halftime. You couldn't handle it, and I understand.
Yeah.
I stayed till the end and told you after that you were lucky you had left when you did. Because it was literally like one of those, and they were dead the whole time kind of endings.
And it didn't shock me
like,
at all. I think I screamed laughing when I read that text. I was so happy I left.
I don't know, like, how could he possibly have written that and ended it with, and here's the twist, they were dead the whole time? Like, how could he do that at this point in his career, Stephen King?
Well, that's the thing, is I wonder if Stephen King was like, okay, I know how to write a story. Why don't we give the ending to the Coug? Why don't we get Mellencamp to, like, slap an ender on this, on this baby cake? And then Mellencamp was like, they were dead the whole time. And he says it so fast. And King just shrieks laughing. He's like, all right, buddy, you got it.
But you know what? I don't know if they said who wrote the story and who wrote the music. Maybe just the whole thing was music by Stephen King and story by John Mellencamp.
Yeah, see, that would have been the best. If it was just like, hey, I'll show you how to play a G chord if you show me how to make a proper paragraph. And then they like gave each other a high five.
That's the best. If I had the background story, I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Well, yeah, if somebody just came up and was like, all right, so these three guys are really talented. They switched roles. And we all knew before watching the thing, then maybe we wouldn't take it so seriously. Or I wouldn't have been so personally offended.
I just said on my last episode of this podcast that I was leaving Toronto. As a guy who has left Toronto, do you feel good about that decision still?
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
I was pretty grumpy, like my last 2 or so years in Toronto, because I quit doing music, and then I was just working, and and so I was just there to work, and I don't know, there was still some friends playing music and stuff like that, and occasionally I'd go out and see a show, but it wasn't really my thing, and so then I just wasn't doing anything. And so it was just kind of a sad place to be. And yeah, like the moment I left, I was just in a great, mental space and just excited about life.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah. So where are you headed?
You were here a lot longer than me, too. Like, I've only been here a little under 2 years. You were here for, like, 10 years or something, right?
Yeah, almost 10.
Yeah, like a long time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna move back to Aurelia for a bit with my parents.
Oh, well, there you go.
Just to save some money.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm after I save some money, hopefully gonna move to New Zealand.
Okay.
That's where my sister and her boyfriend are moving, kind of beginning of March. So that's my hope as well to do that.
And is there a big comedy scene you're pursuing in New Zealand, or some mountains you want to climb, or what's the Brolin thing over there?
I have no idea. Just like the experience in general, I guess. But I hope that there's like some comedy going on. I don't even know where we're gonna settle, whether it'll be a city or like a small town or what. I assume city. I've hardly been working. I cut my shifts back down to 3 a week so that I could do more creative stuff.
Yep.
Which I've done if it's creative to sleep in till 3 in the afternoon and then watch Netflix until you go to bed.
Huh.
If that's creative, then I've got lots of creative stuff done since I've had more days off.
How long has this been going on, Brolin?
Only a couple weeks.
Couple weeks, eh? Wow, that flies. I don't know what I would do with a lot of time off. I haven't had a lot of time off in a while. There was a time where I cut the top of my thumb off.
Oh, yeah, you sent me a picture of that.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. And
it was gross.
Yeah, and so I couldn't work in a kitchen because I only had one hand I could use. The other hand had to be like wrapped up so that it wouldn't, die. And and so I was at home for like 2 weeks, and I really did not do much. And I got paid like a little bit, like a percentage of what you're supposed to get paid from like workers' comp or whatever, like as my thumb grew back. Yeah, I was so excited to go back to work. There were definitely some days of just drinking beer in the sun and then like falling asleep at like 4 p.m.
That sounds okay. That sounds okay for a bit.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing, is like that was probably great for the first 3 days, and then after that it's like, ugh, I need an artistic hobby.
Yeah. I told myself I'd write a lot more.
Oh yeah, but writing, you need those stupid ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah, your thumb's grown back now.
Oh yeah, it looks fine. It's just shorter than the other one.
How far down did you cut it?
Well, I've got a ruler right here. Let me line it up.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay. Well, like, let's say if you start at the 0...
As we do when we're measuring things.
I thought that rulers cost more money than they do, so I was kind of like saving up for a ruler. It turns out they're $2. You don't need to save up for a ruler. Yeah, so it's about 3.5 millimeters. So not much.
You're saying that's not that much, but that's quite a lot when you're talking about cutting a piece of yourself off.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. That part of me is now gone.
I was going to say, I know you're not here to promote this in any way at all, but I have to mention, because you just put that greatest hits thing online.
Oh yeah, I did.
A collection of your songs. You emailed certain friends a list of songs asking them to pick their favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Myself included, which I was very honored.
Hey, I was appreciated that you got back to me with some songs you liked.
I felt good because I'm pretty sure there's one that I said had to be on there that you didn't even give me on the list, and it was on there. It's called Leaving Yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't on the original list, I don't think, but that was one that's like always been one of my favorite that I listen to all the time.
Yeah, and I found a good version of it to put on there.
I think it might even be different than the version I had on my thing, so now I have 2 versions of it, which is nice.
Yeah, I think there's like 4 versions of that one. Like some of the songs I liked, I didn't think that I did right the first time, or I thought I did an okay job, but I wanted to do it a different way. So there's a few different, versions of a bunch of songs.
Is it okay if I play a song on this podcast?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, cool.
I don't want to think about leaving yet. Just arrived.
And then I'd put one in right there.
Okay.
That'd be the spot.
Wow, what a gem. I'm glad you put that on.
Yeah. Well, that's maybe the difference between you and I. You seem to be a glass half full kind of guy, and I'm a glass half empty kind of guy.
Oh no, I'm also like are you kidding me? A glass? Like I'm kind of just excited that there's a glass. I can be pretty joyful for absolutely no reason, just because just because it's a day of the week. But yeah,
I didn't know that was joy. I thought it was just like kind of like frustration.
Oh no, you read me completely wrong. I was just like, not just grateful for what's in the glass, but like holy moly, a glass. I wanted to get into the woods, try and relax a bit, forget all kinds. I wanted to sleep under the stars, dream away the businessmen, dream away the rich, just set up shop, set up shop. I'll learn to paint a landscape, learn to settle down, leave no trace of want for anything at all. I wanted a little privacy. I wanted a little time for me. I wanted to get into the woods, set up shop, set up shop.
I do want to make a musical with you, though. I want you to be the Stephen King to my John Mellencamp.
Yeah. Oh well, if that's the template, then yeah, I'd feel very comfortable working on that musical.
Perfect. You reminded me of my first memory of you, actually, which is way before high school. Not way before, but before high school.
Okay.
I went to Mount Slaven, right?
Sure.
So I used to hang out with your neighbors growing up.
Yeah.
I remember being at my friend Josh Annis's birthday party when we were in like grade 6 maybe or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you coming over, and I didn't know who you were. You would have been, I guess, like grade 8, grade 9 maybe, right?
Okay.
Depending on how old I was. So you came over, and I don't remember a lot, but I do remember you kind of just being like, hey, you guys like Kurt Cobain? And then I don't even remember how you responded. And the other thing I remember you saying, doing was explaining to us kids what whippets were and how you did them with an aerosol can.
Oh, I think you have me confused with Rob Schnurr.
No, this was you. I think you were just trying to be shocking.
Oh, because no, I had a pal who was obsessed with Kurt Cobain back in the day, and he read like Kurt Cobain's journal or something like that, where he goes into like big detail on how to do that.
I think you must have just like heard about it then, because this was 100% you.
Yeah, because that would make some sense. Because I remember where I heard that information and how it was just a really dangerous, stupid thing to do because, you could actually just kill way too many brain cells all at once if you did that.
You didn't present it that way, though.
Oh, well, no, I don't think I was trying to.
You presented it as a really good idea.
Yeah, I was kind of a bad influence.
I liked it. I was like intimidated though. I was like, oh, this guy's scary. I'm gonna just be agreeable.
All right, Brolin, thanks for having me on your podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. And yeah, now we throw to your song that you made for the end of my podcast.
Goodbye for now. Take care, my sweet friend. I'll see you when we do, and I'll like that visit too. Don't be a stranger or stay away long. We've got lots to talk about in time. I have a lot of friends with Brolin, Devine.